Hi, and welcome to Mortgage Insights with Own New, a series of reflections from brokers, builders, buyers and lenders on the current new build mortgage market. Today, we're joined by Hickey and Colin Gill of First Mortgage North East and Eliot Darcy, founder of Own New, a mortgage platform that innovates to help solve key issues in today's challenging mortgage market. Thanks so much for joining us today, guys. I think it's safe to say it's pretty tricky being a broker in today's mortgage market. So I'd love you to explain a little bit about what's out there, what your customers are saying, and your thoughts on the current mortgage landscape.
Yeah, I think you're dead right what you've touched on there at the beginning there, Sophie, about needing a broker at the moment. There's so many new products. As I say, we've got Eliot with Own New, but there's many other products out there at the moment that customers do need a lot of guidance. So coming to a broker who are completely independent, who can check all that is paramount, I think, at the moment. So you're dead right there. The market itself, in general, for us at the moment, is still very buoyant. So we're still seeing lots of purchases. We're doing a lot on the remortgage side, capital raising, things like that. So markets, yeah, it's been a good start of the year for us.
I think for the last couple of years, though, there's been quite a steady change. It's got harder and harder. So you had Help to Buy scale back over the last 2 to 3 years with the changes in the max purchase prices that they could buy for, and in the northeast that really sort of crippled us a bit, didn't it? It really changed things.
Yeah, there was a big. We sort of were weaned off Help to Buy a little bit because of when they brought in the pricing structure. So when we brought that in, we went from sort of like doing 40 odd % in Help to Buy field down to less than 20% because the pricing sort of priced out a lot of our builders. So we sort of weaned off that one a little bit, but then obviously we need now something to replace Help to Buy because it obviously give the deposit affordability. So we need these new products really to come on. And that's what we're starting to see, which is really good.
That and the fact that I think affordability, especially in 2022, that's just got harder and harder and harder. More restrictions from lenders, the higher interest rates, the amount people can borrow. It is challenging, but people are still buying. People still want to buy houses. Still seeing a lot of first-time buyers, but I suppose it takes, like you say, a broker to find the right solution because every single one of those clients has a different solution that's right for them.
That's really interesting you say that, guys. Those are the two areas that we're really focused on because we see those as the two big problems in the mortgage market at the minute: deposit and cost of living. Basically, two of the problems we're trying to solve with Own New. It's interesting looking at some of the stats. The average deposit for a first-time buyer in the last year has been 61 grand. That's a lot of cash, which is nice for those people, but what about the other people who don't have that? That equates to a 75% LTV mortgage. That feels wrong for a first-time buyer. And then the average age of first-time buyers in the 90s was 29. Now it's nearly 34, 33, 34. That's great again for those people, but what about the people who are in that gap and can't buy? And then turning to affordability, I think Zoopla said just last week, as interest rates for mortgages move from 2 to 5%, it decreases people's ability to buy by 28% what they can afford to buy. These are huge gaps that just need filling by interesting products. So that's what we're looking to do.
Yeah. And so, Colin, there's a few different mortgage products out there at the moment. Tell us a little bit about what you're offering your customers, and are they coming to you to ask for those products, or are you suggesting and recommending the best ones?
So it's a mix of both, really. It really depends on the customer circumstances. So we've used Own New already, and that came about from a fact find with a customer and proactively recommending that as a solution for that person's problem. So we found that, we spoke to Eliot, and we arranged a deal with the Darlington and with the site. But with the other different products that are out there, so Skipton have launched their new track record product, which is 100% lending. You have to have rented for the last 12 months consistently, so that'll help some people, but not a lot, because there are still a lot of people living at home, and then you've got the bank of mum and dad who are then gifting that deposit. So it's different products in niche areas, I think.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, as I say, there's people coming to us when the skipping one kicked off. It was everybody was talking about it. It made a lot of noise. But as I say, it will work for some. For others, there's other things that we need to look at. As I say, the own new one came about, and it just fit perfect for us on that particular client who didn't fit affordability with a mainstream lender, but it fit exactly for that product. So the client was absolutely overjoyed, really, that he could get his new built house, when he didn't think it was possible. So these new products that are coming to market. They're good. The brokers, obviously, again, for a good broker, we need to get our heads around all of these when they're coming out, because there's a lot of information and coming across from a lot of different lenders as well. So a lot of criteria change all the time as well. So we've got keeps us on our toes, I guess, as well. Understanding these products, because that's key as well. You know what I mean? When somebody's asking about something, you need to be confident in what you're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. The need for advice in the mortgage market is bigger now than it ever has been. So, you know, you guys got a really important role.
Yeah, and we did an interesting survey recently of what it meant to people to own their own home and move away from the rental market or living with family. What does it mean to your customers to own their own first home?
We deal with a lot of first-time buyers, don't we?
Yeah.
I think, the name First Mortgage, and it does tend to attract a lot of first-time buyers. But also, because we're free, people tend to want to use us for the first time as well. I think quite a lot of people are excited to get on the housing ladder, a little bit scared, you know, because they're venturing out on their first property. Some may not have had their own place before, they may have always lived with mum and dad. But I think, especially where you're renting, someone's got that cost of living shadow hanging over their head constantly. Is their landlord going to put their rent up? Is the bill's going to go up next month? At least that mortgage gives them that security. One, it's theirs, but also that financial security and that confidence to know that they can afford what they want to do on a monthly basis.
Yeah, like I think coming out of rental property, I mean, everybody obviously they want their own property, they want to own it, and then they can improve it and move on. But there's a lot getting stuck in the rental area, aren't there, where they just can't get out because of they're unable to pay if they're paying the rent. How do they save for a deposit? There's all of those sort of connotations as well. So when they can get out, I mean, when you speak to them and you can actually get them something, you can hear the joy when you talk to them. Do you know what I mean? Oh, I can get that mortgage. I can get a house. And you know what I mean? And they're a bit taken aback because they've been told by mainstream media it's all doom and gloom and the rates have gone up and the affordability's harder. And it is in certain areas. But as I say, when you're able to give that message that they can buy instead of renting, it's fantastic. So yeah, it certainly comes across. You can hear it in their voices when you're telling them.
It changes people's lives, I think, very genuinely. I look back to when I struggled, which is where all of this started. I was moving down to London with work, didn't have a big deposit, really struggled. A mate of mine had money from his parents, dead easy for him, really hard for me. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Why is it so hard for me? And that's kind of where they started. But I found a way, and being able to do that absolutely changed my life. If I look back today and think what would have happened now to my financial position if I hadn't have bought back then, it'd be really different. And so, like, we've got to help more people to get access to that stuff, and hopefully that's what we're doing with Own New. Those two big problems, deposit and cost of living, focus on those, and it's really simple. Effectively, Own New is a platform that sits between developers and lenders and just makes it really easy for developers and lenders to innovate to solve these problems, basically. So they get on board once, they sign one agreement, and then they have access to all of these different products that we're bringing out. So at the minute, it's deposit for people with a small deposit. We can help with that, and as you said, Darlington and more lenders coming on stream soon. And then the second product, which we're going to be launching fairly soon, quite excited about, is more about making cheap mortgages for people. So cost of living, helps to solve that problem. So yeah, there's a lot going on at the minute. You're right.
So Graham, how are you finding the developers are responding to these mortgage products?
The new ideas, I think there's a very good take-up, in all honesty, from them. We'll be speaking to one of the managing directors that we worked closely with last week, and they're all for these new ideas, because obviously with Help to Buy moving on, again, they need to come up with new ideas, and for their marketing, they can put things out there. There's new schemes, so anything really that'll help them move the units and get these products moving is being well received, to be honest. So yeah, the more that come on. And I don't see any reasons why they wouldn't be pleased.
We're finding that actually, Sophie. I think what we've learned in our journey to own new and where it is now is you have to make it just dead easy for the developers and dead easy for the lenders. So we'll do all the stuff in the middle, all the problem solving, all that. But if it's really easy for the developers, really easy for the lenders, then you've got something that works. And as you say, it's a no-brainer for those guys, isn't it? It's not. There's no downside really. You're just helping them to sell properties, and you're helping the lenders to lend to people, and that's kind of what they do. So.
Yeah, there's a few schemes out there. I mean, there's a deposit on lock, as well as the own new scheme. There's various different schemes coming on, and certain builders are going with maybe one of the ideas, or maybe they sign up to both. But as I say, it looks very, very positive. It's great. It's what we were all waiting for it, weren't we? Because when Help to Buy was ending, everybody was sort of asking what's next. What happens? Does everything? Did we drop off a cliff and is there nothing? So they were all the builders. I think were all hoping there was something coming, or was there going to be an extension to Help to Buy? So when obviously that didn't happen and it actually did close down, it was great that these products started to come to market.
I think if anything, though, the product that you come up with, it's easier to understand and Help to Buy. I mean, we used to spend a lot of time explaining it to a customer how it worked. We had to go through a calculator to make sure that it fit. Explain what the equity loan was and when that becomes payable and how you redeem it. And there's still people who struggle with that now, just to understand everything that they have to do. At least from a customer point of view, it's just, like you say, really, really simple, really straightforward, and there's no cost. It's just quite easy to understand.
I think that's one of the main things in Own New, and what we did, like it's built around the buyer. Like the borrower has to be no change for them, dead easy. Really simple process for them. It has to be the same process as it is today. That's kind of what it is. With Help to Buy as well, obviously, taxpayers' money being used. With Own New, there's none of that. So, hoping that the private sector can, help to solve some of these problems with the developers and with the lenders, everyone working together to solve the problems, so that hopefully taxpayers' money can be spent, where it's better needed, maybe.
Well, we're nearly coming to the end of our inaugural Mortgage Insights episode, but before we leave, Colin, Graham, could you give us a little bit of leave on a positive note and give us a little bit of an insight as to what you're looking forward to over the coming months?
I think we're really looking forward to Eliot's second product and that coming out. I mean, he's told us a little bit about it, how it's going to work, and I think from a consumer point of view, it's going to hit really well. And I think hopefully from a builder point of view too, I think they've both got something to be really excited about. It's going to help a lot of people, I think. Yeah,
echo Colin's thoughts there on the new product. We've got, as I say, the skipping deal that we've already talked about. I think there'll be many other offerings coming to market as well this year. I think for us, it's just a matter of being aware of what the products are, getting on the front foot and being proactive with these, because as I say, we can help find a solution for a client, which is what we pride ourselves on. So for us, we enjoy a problem case where it comes in and it's not vanilla. So we can hopefully then find the solution, and then you get the reward from the clients. But hopefully the market, I think it's gone back to some sort of normality. We all think, speaking to estate agents, speaking to builders, it's gone back to sort of pre-COVID. We're getting some sort of stability, so that's really positive. And as I say, I think we've had a great start to Q1, and hopefully that will continue as we go through the year.
Any parting thoughts, Eliot?
Just that not everything's as bad as maybe the press make out and sell newspapers on the back of. Looked at some Zoopla data last week. Compared to 2009, demand is 16% higher. So, amazing. And sales agreed are 6% higher. So, we're in a good place right now. And with all these new products, new innovation from Skipton and others coming in, then, we're in a good place, I think.
Thank you for your time today, Graham, Colin and Eliot. Make sure you join us for our next Mortgage Insights episode, where we'll be talking to a lender to get their perspective on the current mortgage market.